we're carrying on or whatever, and my cousin decides to go smoke a cigarette. Well, apparently this guy, I don't know if it was a trigger word, because apparently people with Tourette's have triggers, and he's like, outside. And my cousin's like, yeah, I'm gonna go outside, smoke a cigarette. He's like, outside.
Here's
kept saying it over and over again. And my cousin looked at him and was like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna go smoke a fucking cigarette outside. And he turned and looked at me and goes, what the fuck is this guy's problem? And I just started busting out laughing hysterically. I was rolling on the ground laughing. Now, I don't make it a thing to like make fun of people that have, disabilities. I guess that would be a disability, but I'm telling you that was the funniest shit.
I try to really keep my Tourette's as much of a disability.
Well, I try to keep my composure. Like when I notice people that I'm like, oh, I acknowledge, but like my cousin, he doesn't. He's one of those guys, that doesn't have a filter and doesn't really give a shit otherwise anyway.
And shout out to Billy. He was on our Thanksgiving episode. And actually what's funny is, Matt, you know what happened. Things go wrong. Of course, this is our first time airing on YouTube Live in a while. We've been on Facebook Live. And I just realized when you were in the middle of that story, I never actually hit go live on YouTube. So welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. Basically pregame episode. Of course, I'm Ray. This is Matt. We're talking a little bit about, a story that we were sharing in our text stream and all that. And, it's kind of funny that, and basically what Matt was telling a story about is I looked at my dogs and went, you want to go outside? Outside. And my wife was like, oh man, that inside joke. And, where we came in is where Matt was explaining that, one of these gentlemen that had Tourette's, and of course, Billy is ruthless, dude.
Yeah.
Like Billy doesn't even give a shit. And then what I'm going to do real quick is now, since we're actually live, of course, we're going to get into an Urban Dictionary term of the night, which is Tristan. Tristan is a major fuckboy, but he's honestly one of the best people you'll ever meet, period. Apparently he has pretty eyes. At least that's what I'm hearing. He is super irreplaceable, so hold on to him for as long as you can. He's probably a keep everything to yourself type guy. If you're close to him, he'll tell you everything, but if you guys aren't close, then he'll put a mask on it and say he's fine. But overall, he's great, and everyone should have a Tristan in their life. Prime example, Tristan, you're a fuckboy, but I love you. No homo, though. So that is our Urban Dictionary term of the night. And of course,
he does sound like a good friend, though.
Yeah.
Tristan.
I feel like Tristan.
You'd probably tell him a secret and he'd keep it.
I feel like he wouldn't be as trustworthy, though. But also keep in mind, we're airing exclusively from now on this point forward. No ends, ifs, or buts about it. We're not jumping around anymore. There will not be Facebook Live anymore. We are coming to you on YouTube Live because pretty much when we went live for our fully fermented episode, this past Tuesday night, as me and Tom Nutty, and I showed vintage content, which the vintage content used the song Black Betty. And normally what happens is on YouTube, they'll flag it, say, hey, there's copyrighted material in this, and they mute the sound on the song, which is fine. I'm cool with that. Facebook, however, goes, oh, you use copyrighted material. If you do this again, we will ban your account permanently. And I was like, fuck you. So we are right here back on YouTube Live, which is a little bit more, they're not as sensitive, to some of that kind of stuff. So
I feel like we're just getting tossed between these social media platforms.
Yes.
We just like get running back. We run right back into the YouTube's arms. It's like, save us.
Yeah. It's like, this is where we should be. Save us from these maniacs that, and it's funny because we were talking a little bit about too, is that, I saw that there was a video that I shared that I sent you guys. I don't think you've seen it yet, but it was a TikTok video where a guy was working in a metaverse subway, and it was an empty subway, and he's like, I work here for 8 hours and I serve subs to people. And I'm like, so how the fuck do you eat in a metaverse subway? Like, I don't understand how this actually fucking happens. I would terrorize people so bad. Like, I would act like I'm jerking off on like the fucking subs and shit.
Hey man, like, I got kicked out of the metaverse for doing that, so I'm pretty sure you would too.
Banned from the metaverse. That's just the way it works. And of course, right before we went live too, our good friend Eileen Shapiro, she sent us something which involves one of our former guests, Sadie Katz. So Sadie Katz will be starring in a new movie, which is an all-woman put-on movie called The Beast Inside. So make sure you check that out when it comes out. I told her we try to give it a plug. So make sure you look out for The Beast Inside by one of our former guests, Sadie Katz. Shout out to Sadie Katz and shout out to Eileen Shapiro. And of course, tonight we're going to be joined live by Stacey Toy. Stacey Toy is the executive co-producer of Fan Room Live with Cedric the Entertainer. So that should be fucking fun. Like, I feel like Fan Room Live is kind of like a little bit of how our show kind of like maps out. Like, to have people on, you can talk to them, you know, but obviously a much bigger production and a lot bigger than, you know, our Yahoo, you know, jabroni ass, you know, show that we have. So, you know, it's just, I mean, dude, like, and of course, we were talking to Mike a little bit. Mike's on his way to a Korn concert. Like, you know, that's going to be fucking insane.
I have seen Korn live.
Have you seen Korn? I've never seen Korn myself.
At Family Values. Yeah, it's kind of showing my age here, but
yeah,
I've seen it on Family Values like years ago.
Oh yeah, Family Values was years ago. And of course, make sure you mark your calendars. May 7th is our 100th episode. It will be live right here on YouTube Live, 5 p.m. Eastern. 30 of our former guests will be joining us right here on YouTube Live. We're almost complete. We are at 27. So I'm going to find 3 more guests that will join us, and we're going to have a shit ton of fun. We're going to try to do a Hollywood Squares type game, which will involve all of you watching at home to try to win prizes, either Happy Hour TV merchandise or Happy Hour podcast merchandise or merchandise from any of our guests. A couple of the guests are going to be giving stuff out, CDs, you know, various stuff, autographed photos. So that should be kind of fun. And also, it's going to be deemed the HH Pod Rumble. So 30 people. We're going to be playing all of our games. We're going to have the most epic round of burn photo that you've ever seen in your entire life. I'm going to try to get every single guest to send us a photo for burn photo. And, you know, that itself should be a fiasco, and it's going to be
like a Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah,
how crazy they get.
I mean that's the thing. It's like, you know, you have 30 people that are going to be in one Zoom chat, and
how many people can fit into it?
I think you can get up to like 200.
Oh, really?
So yeah, as long as you're paying for your Zoom stuff, you can get up to 200 in there. So, and of course I have, you know, of course Zoom, you know, I'm paying you well-earned money, so, you know, hard-earned money or whatever, you know, of course a lot of it's going into gas right now, but that's a whole different situation, a whole different story. And dude, let me tell you, and of course you guys missed it earlier, Matt spilled some of this on the Chase Lounge, but we're going to get into this later. This actually isn't fucking bad.
It's very hoppy.
Yeah, it is very hoppy, but for a hoppy beer, like, of course you see the King of Kings. Of course it's not Triple H, but I'm going to call this the King of Kings here. He looks a little bit like a mix between Skeletor and Triple H. So, but yeah, we're going to get into this a little bit later for our new featured beer for the show. So, and I've never even heard of the brewery before, so that's a little bit different. It does have like a cool little description on it. I love like it does have. Oh yes, it has a cool little. I love all the cool little descriptions on this.
The skulls.
So
yeah, it's pretty good. It's almost like a Avenged Sevenfold like.
Yeah, it does. It does look very Avenged Sevenfold like, and of course, you know, we still have Christ Kindle Glue Wine as our you know, featured shot, which is of course wine right now. So, and make sure you know, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Make sure you go out, buy some merchandise. Nobody buys merchandise. I'm not forcing you to buy merchandise, but it would definitely help us out if you buy a little bit of something. And of course, now that we're back on YouTube Live, I can pre-schedule our lives. So if you are interested in seeing any of our lives, of course, the next one is going to be Josh Lewis, which will be on March 11th right here on YouTube Live. Make sure you go to the live section of our YouTube and click notify me. And what will happen is you will get a notification to your email or whatever saying, hey, Happy Hour Podcast is about to go live for that. And the link will be right there on our YouTube. So make sure you head over to our YouTube. You know,
and what do the normal YouTubers say? Smash that like button.
Yeah, yes. Smash that subscribe button, which is right there. And I could be pointing at the other side. It could be on Matt's side. It's either here, it's here, it's here,
it's right here,
or it's here, or it's a little bit right here. If we can steal from Tommy Boy. But no, I mean, man, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, a lot of cool guests coming up. things just keep on coming in. And thankfully, I'm kind of at the point now where I don't have to hunt guests down myself anymore. Like, we work with Erica Icon from the Rub PR, Eileen Shapiro, and Jimmy Starr. They send us guests, so that alone, I try to give them at least 1 or 2 dates a month for each one of them. So that pretty much fills our schedule. And then, we get people here and there. Of course, there's a couple of local people I'm still trying to get on the show, which are friends of ours and, friends of the show. So yeah, I mean, everything's, going very, very well and, all that fun stuff. But, what's been going on, dude? Like what's been happening?
It's been happening, surviving, I don't know, the inflation and shit like that.
Yes.
I'm not trying to get political, but I'm really trying to survive here, man.
Yeah, dude. Mike just sent us a photo not too long ago. He put $100 into his thing. What the fuck does Mike drive? Is Mike driving like a fucking Russian tank? Like what the fuck is he? What is he fucking driving around?
I don't know what he's driving anymore. I think he bought a Ram. I think he bought a Dodge Ram.
Oh shit.
I think so. So yeah, that's gonna suck up.
Well, that thing's ramming him in the ass right now.
Ramming him in the ass now.
Like,
you should have bought an electric car.
Yes, buy an electric car. Nobody in our political landscape has any kind of stock in electric vehicles. So,
yeah, right. That's hilarious.
Well,
Brian's like, you guys should be buying electric cars. The gas prices, you ain't got to worry about an electric car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, look at it like this. Like Jess was like, she's like, I would love to get a Tesla, and it's like one. The batteries don't last long. They don't get a lot of mileage. Like you have to charge them every so often.
Yeah.
So, also what's your fucking electric bill going to look like? Like, holy shit. Like you have to charge that thing overnight to get a full fucking charge.
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
you could be like, if you got rid of gas completely, I mean, I guess they don't run on gas at all, but they still would run on some type of oil because it still has a regular motor, I believe. So it's still, the motor has to be lubed up with oil.
Well, also, I feel like
you gotta keep it lubed up all times.
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, dude, I feel like those cars are also probably super massively fucking expensive to work on. And it's not like kind of
they give you government incentives and stuff. So like, I mean, I'm not saying that's not going to cost.
You get incentives for getting solar power, also like fucking solar fucking.
But my biggest problem is exactly what you said. You got to remember to charge it.
Yeah,
and I'm freaking terrible. With charging things. Like my phone, like I have
almost like charging a credit card, like what we talked about last week with charging a credit card on the old school credit card thing.
So I have problems remembering to charge my phone.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine I'm going to pull in the garage and just completely forget to charge my car, and I'll be going to work the next day oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, imagine this though with electric cars, and of course there's our guest joining us a little bit early. Hey, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. We're talking a little bit on our pre-show, and we're talking a little bit about electric cars. But one of my main concerns is you drive. Like, for example, me and Jess went to Salem, and then we went to Asheville. It's like, and how many times do you have to stop to recharge that fucker? On the drive. Like we could just go get gas, whatever, all that. And I'm also not keen on cars that drive themselves either, because you know how it works. Like, Google Maps will get confused on a road that doesn't exist anymore, and the next thing you know, that bitch just drives you off a fucking overpass.
I
it's
really
like, see you later.
Remember these articles that I read and bring them to the show. We could discuss them. There was recently an accident with a self-driving car not that long ago.
There were a couple.
But this one caused like a 10-car pileup. It was pretty bad from what I understand. The car was completely dismantled. And it was but there was nobody in it. So nobody thankfully died.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
but still, the inconvenience.
Yeah. And Stacey, what's your opinion on electric cars? Like, you for them, or are you just kind of like, oh, no, that's not for me?
No, I'm definitely for them. I used to I remember I watched the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car, which is cool. I know Elon Musk had his hand in like all of that stuff too back then. So I mean, I don't know exactly to what extent, but I guess I think he paid for part of the documentary or something, or was a part of it in some way. But my brother, they have Teslas, and my dad's got a Prius, and so I mean, mine's hybrid. I have a hybrid SUV, so it just shuts off and like freaks everybody out when you stop it.
Now with the Teslas, do they really like record like everybody says that they do? Like, if
Yes.
someone's, like close to like for example, if my buddy had a Tesla and I wanted to put my balls on the side of his car, it would
Yes.
record me actually doing that.
It would. And I only know that because my brother sent me, they drove the Tesla down to Ocean City, Maryland for family
Oh,
vacation.
shout out to Ocean City, Maryland. That's our part of town, Maryland.
Nice. Well, they were driving down there and a fox jumped on the Tesla and like he sent me the video from the car because he was like, there's a fox on my car.
Oh, like while they were driving or while it was parked?
No, while it was parked. He was in the hotel room. It was like in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And it recorded it and he sent me the video of it. And I was like, wow, that is so cool. The only thing that I really, really love this feature on the Tesla too, is you can make it so if you turn a blinker on, it'll make farting noises in whatever seat you want it to, and you can pick.
Cool.
And it makes it so it sounds like, somebody in the back left corner just farted and stuff. So like, I'm an adult. So like, of course I like that stuff,
When you first said the fox jumped on the car, I thought it was like one of those kinds of things where like he's being chased by like something bigger and more badass. And he just jumps on the hood of the car like,
that would be cool. Would be cool. I don't know. I don't have the whole story, but I doubt it. I mean, but it was, I think it was like in June of last year. So it could have been like spring break or, senior week or whatever. I saw a guy got hit by a bus down there during senior week. And it was like, he just got up and walked it off. And I was like, what?
Have you ever, and Ocean City, Maryland, I've been many trips. Me and Matt got drunk and threw a pool off a second floor balcony.
Yeah, nice.
So, but it's a kind of
no
thing
one was injured, but the pool did not make it.
Have you ever been on the drunk bus in Ocean City?
No.
It is a sight to see.
No, just the jitney in Atlantic City. That was like the drunk bus, but
a lot of people, it's a common practice in Ocean City that the drunk people on the bus do bus flips. They'll grab like the rails on the bus and they'll kick their feet up and do like backflips. Nice. And I remember there was a time I was on the bus and I had to I was like, get off. I need to get off. I need to pee. Stop. I don't care. I'll go into any bar. I need to pee. And the bus just kept going. It just kept blowing past bus stops because the bus was at max capacity. Yeah. And I just looked over at my friends and I was like, I'm sorry. And I just peed. And I just peed all like down the back steps.
That's funny.
Of the bus. So we go to get off the bus and we knew it was there. So we just grabbed the railings and just flung ourselves down the steps. And I was just kind of, I don't know what else to do. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap the pregame part of the show. And we're going to go ahead, start up the audio version of the show along with the video version of the show, which will air on every major podcast platform. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, I'm Ray. Matt's here with me after speeding about 90 miles an hour to get here and almost probably taking out a smart car himself. And of course, we're here with our special guest, Stacey Toy. Stacey, you are the co-executive producer of Fan Room Live with Cedric the Entertainer. Tell us about Fan Room Live. I'm very excited, to hear about it.
Yes. So Fan Room Live started with Jeff Krause, Mitch Faulkner, Cedric the Entertainer, Jay Benjamin, and I've been helping since the start of it too. And during COVID, it was like we all just everybody just got together and came up with this idea. And it's essentially people get to buy tickets, and the whole point of Fan Room is like you get to have your own like fan room. It's like Zoom, so it's everywhere around the world, which is really cool too because we record the shows live. But again, it's the fan room, so the fans come and they buy this ticket, and it just like me and you are talking right now, they get the chance to meet and talk to their favorite celebrity, whoever's on the show, and they get their special time with them. They also can some of the shows we offer like VIP, like backstage type stuff, so you get another like additional like 5 minutes or whatever it is of time to just like have this conversation. We record it, we send everybody the videos, but our show is recorded live and it streams in like almost 200 countries. And on some Delta flights and all that other jazz.
Well, that's good. That's good shit. That sounds fun. And of course, you get to work with Cedric the Entertainer also. And how's that? Like that dude is just
so cool.
Yes.
Yeah. He told me I was like funny once on one of my early shows when I first started, and I was like, "Oh my god, if the king of comedy thinks I'm funny, then I just." I'm like, "Yeah, that was recording, right? Because I want that for the rest of my life." You know,
It's
but
like,
no, it's awesome.
yeah, if the king of comedy thinks I'm funny, then God
Yep.
damn it, I am
I
funny.
made it. And it was on the the VIP after show for the LA Dodgers. That's
shit.
when he told it to me too, like in front of lots of people. I was like,
so all the people who paid got to see that.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, so we have everybody on there. From Cedric to Sheena Arnold, and Beth Bears was just on 2 weeks ago from Two Broke Girls in the Neighborhood with Cedric. Cedric was on, but we've had everybody on there from George Lopez to DL Hughley to Ice T and Coco, Jake the Snake Roberts, like Paul White,
Jake,
you know. So yeah, we have a lot of really big names and A-list people confirming dates and stuff right now. So stay tuned to Fan Room Live on Instagram, Facebook, and then fanroomlive.com to get your tickets for upcoming events. And then you can have your meet and greet time too, or just come and be a spectator and, be a part of it.
Nice. Make sure you go and check it out. And of course, yeah, it's almost a lot like what we do also right here on the Happy Hour podcast. Unfortunately, we don't have, a studio or anything like that, but we still like to get on and, just sit there and drink beer and shoot the shit.
Yeah.
With our guests. That's just, it's the most fun part. And, speaking of Jake, we had a privilege. We've had Jake on the show ourselves. And actually, I wrestled Jake back in 2008, I think it was. Yeah, 2008. And I'll never forget the first punch he threw. He busted my lip open. And I was just like, sorry, dude, as he clotheslined me, after he did that. But no, I mean, and I was talking to Eileen, and Eileen sent me some stuff. Did you at one point work with Snoop Dogg in some capacity? She was
we're doing some stuff that I can't officially talk about with the NFT world. And if anybody knows the NFT world, they know Snoop Dogg's a big whale, as they call them. Yeah. Kids these days in the metaverse lingo, so I can neither confirm or deny any of that stuff, but I can tell you that we did sign a bunch of death row clients. So I mean, 2 + 2 is 22, I guess. Huh?
And now with that, have you with Snoop Dogg? Have you spent time with Snoop Dogg yourself?
I've met him before. I'm very good friends with his first cousin and his other artist, who has done. His cousin is the original Doggy Style artist from 30 years ago, but he's done all of his front covers. And my very good friend, Justin Roach is his name. He has been doing all of Snoop's like clothing line and doing all of the front covers for all of his new albums for the last maybe 10 or 15 years now. So, and he's actually here in Scranton, Pennsylvania, the same as me. So it's like so cool. Of all places.
Office is filmed.
Yes, home of the Office. That's right. Well, that's what Snoop Dogg's guy is.
And I feel like with Snoop Dogg, like I feel like, and like Snoop Dogg's like he now has death row records. So I feel like, if he were to be like, step into my office, you'd walk into the office and like the door would open and just a plume of smoke just emit from the room. And like it'd be like you wouldn't even need to smoke because you would just get such a contact high.
Well, my tolerance is up there, so I don't know. I am also in the THC and CBD industry, so nice. It's called research, boys. It's research. Okay,
that's a very, very lucrative industry. Good friends of our
show.
Cool,
though. I was like, because I originally went to college for chemistry, but I can't fucking do math. So I can talk, I can't add, but I can talk. So I went into communications, and that's where all my degrees are from and how I can just speak so fluently, but don't ask me to add. But the whole chemistry stuff is so cool because I do love the science aspect behind it. And once like you start to like learn stuff, you're like, oh, wow. Like if you put this with this, like I better do this. And like, it's just cool. I mean, the whole everything about it is really cool. And it's helped a lot of people that I know, and me personally, like ever since I started using those kinds of products, I've lost like 70 pounds in the last 3 years. just from doing all this stuff. I know, but it's like weird because like, especially when you smoke weed and, you know, do Delta 8s and all that, it's like you get the munchies real bad, but it's weird because you can control it. So now that I'm, you know, I use, you know, every single day, and, you know, I basically microdose all day long. Just, you know, I have Lyme disease too. So, and I used to be addicted to opioids. I'm clean like 18 years or something like that at the end of this year. But, so I have to, you know, find other ways of dealing with my pain and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that stuff's, it saved my life. You know, it's helped a lot of people. It's helped a lot of people I know too that have like alcohol problems and things like that. Like I know I used to drink a lot, you know, when in my 20s and all that stuff. I'm almost 40 now, so I'm like, oh, I'll mellow out now.
I
It's okay. I'm happier.
Yeah, I wish I could say that I was younger, that I didn't drink a lot, but I'd be lying to you. And also, I'm hosting a show called the Happy Hour Podcast. So
no, I mean it, but happy hour, like I take sips of my pen, you know, my vape pen, or that's my sips.
Well,
I still like a good wine and a good, you know, IPA and, you know, every once in a while and stuff. It's just that I just really, you know, I just I'm happier. I'm happier.
right.
Even my kids have told me, my kids are teenagers. They're like, Mom, ever since you started like, you know, on this CBD THC journey of yours, they're like, you become a better mother. I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, they're like, you're just not irritable anymore, and you're happy and you want to do stuff. I'm like, what were you saying? I was a shit mom before? Like,
really, Ray doesn't smoke marijuana or anything like that, but I do. I do a lot actually. And it's really actually helped me with like my anxiety and stuff. So
yes,
I can contest to that. Like it is helpful, especially during like this the pandemic stuff.
Yeah.
All the crazy shit going on. Kind of helped me kind of just like relax. Like everything's just gonna be it's okay.
Yeah, he just gets high and then he just gets on the metaverse and his Oculus and just
there you go. So do you know where to go to on the sandbox to get to Snoop's house? You know,
No, I don't. But
metaverse. Well, I know his neighbor that bought the house next door to him on the metaverse. It's the sandbox metaverse. His neighbor paid $450,000 for that virtual house next door to him.
Wow.
So there's the whole NFT world, which, you know, is the new company we just launched. Nice segue.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about a little bit on the pre-show that I saw a video on TikTok and someone posted it and they said that they have a full-time job working at the metaverse subway. And I'm just kind of like, wait, what? And I'm like, how does that work? And I was like, and they're like, I spend like 7 to 8 hours there. And I'm like, the first 25 minutes, they're firing me because I'm like throwing sandwiches at like people who come in or whatever, because it's like completely like I still don't know how they plan on controlling Grand Theft Auto in the metaverse. Like, I don't like, chaos. Like,
I have no idea.
And
I have no idea. I mean, I saw a thing not too long ago. There was like some like metaverse gangs, I guess, if you will, like, and they were, but you know, they were talking about it in the metaverse, and then somebody recorded the conversation and like posted it. It was like an NFT news or something like that on Instagram, but it was weird because they were like, oh yeah, they're trying to have like the gangs and stuff on the metaverse. But like, even if you take, because I've seen people in bar fights on the metaverse. I don't know.
That's best. Yes.
And they're like, but like nobody gets, like, you don't die, you know? It's like, hey, you know, if nobody's getting hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's like silly and stupid. It's like, why promote violence? I mean, but you know, at the same time, it's like, we're also working with people in the real estate aspect of things too, with the metaverse, with the new NFT company, you know, to do like gun ranges and have like celebrity stuff, because it's essentially just like a video game.
Yeah, I mean, you can do like virtual house tours if you're buying a house.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. The real estate, that's what makes, you know, adding NFTs to all of that stuff just adds, you know, to the price value of it going up when you sell it, you know. So it's all just assets. There's like virtual, I read the other day on the metaverse that there's toilet paper and like cemeteries. And I mean, like, I knew the schools and like all that, but toilet paper, like, really, like, I am not going to buy fucking fake toilet paper for fake shit that I'm going to have to buy just to have one, like
somebody's gonna buy it though.
Oh yeah, somebody
Someone's gonna
because
buy
they
it.
market
I
that
know.
they know somebody out there
Someone's gonna buy
is
it.
going to get this because they need it in their little house. That's what it is.
Yes.
Like they need to sit on their little toilet. They need to pull the toilet paper. They need to wipe their, and then obviously it's a metaverse. So
Yes.
everything that's in the toilet, you flush the toilet. It's just kind of like, wait a minute, what? I feel
Wait,
like
are we gonna get a water bill? You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, I feel like that some people though, I feel like it might do more harm than good because I feel like some people might get so immersed in that world that they can't split reality from what's going on in the metaverse. And
Well, there's always that fear, but I feel like if we do this right, it's gonna be so much better than
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say nothing's better than real life, but if we do it right, there won't be those types of things. There won't be water bill. What the hell's what? You're giving me a water bill for fake water that's not real. That doesn't make sense.
But like people are doing the like Geico car reports, like the fax reports type things, like for their virtual cars. But they're like crypto kitties and stuff. Like they're breeding cats. So like you have to go. Oh, this has been going on since like 2017. That's what NFT crypto kitties is.
We need to get into
But they have a legit gestation period, and like you can only use so many. But then if you mix like a generation 7 with the generation 9, then it's like a generation 13 or some shit. Like, but if you mix a generation 10 with a 10, then it's an 11. Like, and then you can, it's called having an order, and like you can order them out. It's essentially like I have an awesome cat and I'm going to make it a little whore, and people will pay money to breed with my cat. So I don't have the responsibilities as a parent, but I get paid, and it's all virtual.
Yeah.
But so it's like, but then they have, again, their gestation period. I don't know what a cat's gestation period is off the top of my head, 9 months, 2 months, whatever it is, but then there's like a recuperation time, I don't know if you probably get all the little saggy titties and all that stuff that you get from overbreeding too, like on the metaverse. I don't know. I'm sure it's probably written in the smart contract.
The thing that caught me is when you were like, you can breed the kitties, and it's just kind of like, I could just see some weirdo going, I'd like to breed with the kitty. And then they're just kind of like, well, you know what? What's your cat's name? Blah, 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 this, that, and another. And it's just like, I don't have a cat. I want to breed with this kitty. And they're just kind of like, what? Wait, what are you saying now?
That's what Tamagotchis prepared us for, man. Yeah.
And it's like a true to life Tamagotchi.
Yeah. I keep telling this guy, he's got to get in there. I mean, and I'm only like tipping the iceberg. I like to go to like comedy clubs and shit like that. And it's so much fun. You get to sit back, just watch like actual comedians and they tell jokes, and you just sit there and it's like they have it set up like a real like club, like a comic club. There's like drinks, like martini drinks on the table. It's pretty wild. Like I keep telling him, he's got to like get in there. It's like it's a whole different world.
Yeah, a handful of our comedian friends. Shout out Tommy Sabazo. He hosts a lot of those VR comedy shows.
Yeah, it was on Vegas, right? Didn't it?
Yeah, he did one in Vegas, and they were actually just covered by the Washington Post for one of the ones they recently did. So that's taken off very, very well. And it's funny because he can do it in a certain room, and people can do it. They can watch online, but also they set up a screen, like they'll do it outside, kind of like an outdoor screen, and you can watch it on that too. So at that point, you're making the money off the people who are watching it there, but you're also making the money off the people who pay to watch it on the screen virtually as well. And it's like, man, like that's completely insane. Like,
and it's all like, for example, like working with like the crypto jewelers and stuff. So they design and make the jewelry that you can buy as an NFT and wear in the metaverse, like on yourself or whatever. But then there's the packages where if you buy it and it's obviously a lot more money, they'll make the real piece then in real life. So you get the metaverse version and the real life version, and you could sell both. You could sell them together, you could sell them apart, whatever it is. But like, so it's like you still get the piece in hand. And a lot of the NFTs, they come with the benefits and all that kind of stuff in the packages, which ultimately include something in hand. Like even when Nas dropped his NFTs for owning a percentage of the royalties for 2 of his songs. First of all, there was like 1,100 or something like that each. And they sold out. The first one sold out in less than 7 minutes. And the second one sold out in less than 4 minutes. They were like, one was $99. There was one for $499. There was a $5,000 one and a $10,000 one. And then you make royalties on the streaming. But figure it, he had like 11 million views streaming last year. So the people making royalties, even in paying like, $500 for this NFT, you get the royalties and all that. But then you also get, like the signed CD and, the hoodie and like, so there's actual physical merchandise too that comes with some of these purchases. I mean, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club stuff, like everybody's got the Bored Ape pictures, like Justin Bieber paid like 1.3 million.
I heard that. Yeah.
Thing. Like there you get access to all the yacht clubs and like all their events and stuff. So, I mean, and the celebrities are always there. And so it's something that has, it's worth in other aspects, as long as you're like around somewhere that you could benefit from them. I mean, if you're, from Kansas, you can't go to New York City every weekend just, for an event, but, but you're also, it's like almost kind of being, given access to go to the Grammy parties or something, because you're always going to have famous rich people in all these places because they're the people who own the NFTs. And if the minimum price is like 250,000 for one of these dumb, ugly apes, which, I have to say, like, I do own one of them and not the ones that are like that expensive, but ones that are like the first cousin to like that. So it's still the ape, and stuff like that. But
ape is an
yeah.
ape.
I've got him. I've got one. Yeah. Just because it's like, I got to say I have one too. So it's like, yeah, I hear it looks just like it.
You need to get an ape. You need to get an ape.
Well, I don't know. All this new NFT stuff that even Scott Page, remember we had him on. He was telling us all
Scott Page was all.
NFT.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I'm intrigued by it. I really need to reach back out with him and try to.
Here's my dumb ape. That's my dumb ape.
Yeah.
That's my NFT that I own. That's a dumb ape.
And it's going back to when you were talking about the toilet paper. Like, of course, you have the metaverse and you can do all this cool stuff. But also there's going to be people who do a lot of dumb things. Almost like, for example, what the story I'm about to talk about now. And we talked about something similar to this a couple episodes back of a man who put like that sprayable foam in his penis.
Oh.
And I don't know what it is with people putting things in their penis.
I like to fix a flat.
Yeah, like to fix a flat. And
yeah,
I was reading an article, and I'm going to pull it up. It was an Iranian man, 49-year-old man, who stuck a AA battery in his penis. And he went to the doctor saying that it was stuck for 24 hours. And just imagine that with, you have that stuck in there. And like, have you ever taken out the back of like a remote control and the batteries have leaked and it has like all that, like, it's leaked into that? Like, imagine that happened.
Wait. You're talking about,
dude.
I'm talking about a AA battery. How do you get that?
Yes, that's what I'm like stuck. I mean, I've had 2 kids, so I've had like, the tubes up my. And I swear to God, the thing looked like it was this big, but it was like, the size of a tiny little pinhole. A AA battery. I mean, I couldn't piss right for 2 weeks after having those things, catheters.
That's irreversible damage.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like,
you're not fixing that.
That dude, at this point, it's like, do you now send this dude to be on like the front lines in the Ukraine? Because I mean, can this dude like now fire batteries out? Like, you can just put a missile in that goddamn thing and just be like, oh, well, fuck Russia. See you later. Wow. Like, this dude's firing the shit out. Like, I mean, but what goes through?
Just trying to keep it like,
what goes through your,
like a cheap way to keep it hard at all times.
What goes through your mind though? Like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, at what point do you sit there and go, I'm just going to shove this in my, I still don't think that's as bad as the fix a flat guy, like the foam, because he sprayed the foam up there and that foam hardened. Like, it literally hardened. Like, he was stuck with a boner because it fucking hardened inside, and they fucking had to like, like that story said they pretty much had to like twist it and turn it and all to break the foam just to get the foam out of the head of his penis. And I'm like, like I couldn't even imagine what is going on. Like, you remember when we were kids, you had like that kind of like foamy type gack type stuff that like you could squeeze, but it was like kind of foamy. I feel like that's what was inside of him. Like, at what point do you so
Just wow. You know, when we got bored, we got together and made fan room.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
That's a really good idea. Fan room.
Yeah.
People should.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Let's
gonna do? I'm gonna
that.
shove a battery in my pee hole.
Yeah. Well, I mean, imagine this. Like, let's set it up. You know, you're talking to a guy. You go home with him, and then it's like, you guys start the disrobe, and then the next thing you know, dude sits there, and you're getting ready to get it on, and he has a AA battery in his penis. It's like, at that point, like, there's so many things going through your mind. It's like, did he have some sort of tragic accident? Is this a detachable penis? Does he need this battery in order for it to work? Like, why is this here? And how is this going to happen in here?
No,
yeah,
dude, on the back of the battery or the back of the remote control and everything, there's like a spot for it to fit. Okay. Like, that doesn't fit. That doesn't even fit in your freaking ear. Like, how stick it in your belly button. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Like, I feel like
That's
batteries now need directions. I feel like almost anything now needs directions. Please do not shove in head of penis.
Do not put this in your
Yes, do not put this in your penis. Yeah.
I was on a wine tour like 3 years ago, I guess, up to New York, and the plastic bags on the bus had directions on them. Plastic bag, like open.
Right. And I believe that. It's things are.
I took a picture of it. It's somewhere. If I find it, I'll send it to you because I couldn't believe that shit either.
I see things like that too, and I'm like, you really had to be told how that works.
Yeah. Like, I mean, here's my directions for it. For the people who need those directions, my directions are, and it'll be a visual, like you can see the pictures of it on the bag. You basically open the bag, take bag, put overhead, pull bag tight. And then once you lose consciousness, you've used the bag correctly. And that's for the people who need those directions on said bag. And that's almost like the thing of, this is why there's disclaimers. This is why this stuff happens. Like, this is why weird laws are out there. Like we've talked before, weird laws, like one we have here in Maryland, you can't take a lion to a movie theater on a Sunday. There's a reason.
Oh, the laws.
Oh, there is some dumb laws.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's like, at what point do you sit there and go, oh, well, I'm looking at this bag. I've watched someone put something in this bag, but how does this machine work? And then they walk out of the store or get off of the bus, they get into a car and they drive. And you're just kind of like, wait.
They're operating a vehicle. Yeah, they couldn't open this bag. They didn't know what it was for.
Yeah. They walk out, get in the car, start the car, and drive away. And you're just kind of like, they're going to kill somebody. This is somebody is going to die within the next 15 minutes because this person doesn't know how to use a goddamn bag. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I
And what we're going to do real quick is we're going to get into our new featured beer. So we are unveiling a new featured beer tonight, and it is Zombie Dust by Three Floyds Brewing Company. So I caught this. I saw a little Skeletor / Triple H, the King of Kings looking guy on this can. And it says for Zombie Dust, it said this intensely hop and gushing undead pale ale will be one's only respite after the zombie apocalypse. Created with our marvelous friends in the comic industry. Art by Tin Celia. Oh, okay. So Zombie Dust, Undead Pale Ale. So apparently they have ties to the comic book industry. So I got to look up more on this. I want to find out a little bit more about this. So maybe Three Floyds is linked kind of with some sort of comic of some sorts. But yeah, so that's our current featured beer. So make sure you go out, find it, look for the bright orange can with this little skeleton guy on the front. And of course, our current featured shot, of course, it's not really much of a shot at all, but my wife ended up with this weird wine at work called Christkindl Glue Wine. And she was like, I don't know what this is, nor do I want to drink it. So I'm going to give it to you and drink it on the podcast. So that's what we're currently doing. So shout out to St. Lawrence for their Christkindl Glue Wine. And we're going to go ahead and put this in. And actually, it wasn't half as bad as I thought it would be. And Matt, you also thought it was going to be kind of bad too, because I don't really like red wine or darker wine. Like I'm more of a light wine type guy.
Like a white wine.
Yeah, like a white wine. So
white wines are sweeter.
But there we go. There's that. And yeah, man. But so what we're also going to do now is we're going to get in.
Describe what that tastes like.
Yeah. Come on, you got to tell me. I like wine.
It kind of tastes like a Christmas tree.
Smoke.
It kind of tastes like a Christmas tree. I can feel the pine needles go down my throat.
Oh, good. Yeah. So it's like Christmas.
Yeah. And what we're going to do real quick is we're going to get into our game segment. So we play a game segment called Ode to Humanity. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, and let me just go ahead and get this ready for screen share. We're going to start off with, actually, let me get this, get the stuff ready for this. I don't have the file pulled up for it, but what we're going to do is we're going to start off with what do you meme? So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a card, and then we want you to meme that card. So pretty much, let me go ahead and get into this screen share, hit that, and then so when you see this, what would you meme that photo as?
Oh Lord. I was like, bitch, what you looking at? Like, I could just it's like, no, you know what? It's like looking at my grandmother if she was still alive and telling her, like, showing her an iPhone. Like, honestly, like, what in the Dickens? Because she's from Wales. What in the Dickens?
That's great. What about you, Matt? What do you think?
I'm gonna say, what the hell's an NFT? I'm trying to.
There you go.
Trying to figure out Windows Vista.
Yeah, and that's kind of on the same lines of mine. I was thinking as soon as I looked at it, when you try to explain to grandma what an NFT is, and that the fact that the metaverse exists, like, could you imagine taking that dear old granny and putting like an Oculus on her and letting her experience the metaverse?
Right. They're still
she's gonna have to learn if she's gonna go to Walmart soon,
And then we're going to do is our second game is Incoherent. So Incoherent, pretty much we're going to show you a series of cards, and pretty much these cards are in drunken lingo. So what you need to do is you need to sound the cards out, try to figure out what they say, and they have a couple of hints on the back. So we'll give you a couple of hints, see if you can figure out what they say. So this is going to be the first one. Let me go ahead and get that up, and then I will screen share it for you. So everybody watching at home, you guys can also see it as well. So let me just go ahead and put it on here. What do you think that says? What do you think that card says?
Khloe Kardashian.
Let's see. It is Khloe Kardashian. Damn. So one of the hints is keeping up, and then Kim K's sister. So
quick.
There's that one. So we have two more. So let me go ahead, get the other one ready to go, and then we will see how you do on that. So that one was pretty easy. A lot of people struggle with this game, and it depends, like, how it is. So here's the next one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and show that. What do you think that says?
Bop, log, and drop it. Bop, lock.
Oh, yeah.
Stop, lock, and drop it. No.
Oh, you got lock and drop it.
Yeah, it's a song.
Yeah.
Like,
Bop, lock, and Bop, lock. It's like
it was a song. It was like back in the early 2000s, I want to say.
A dance move that stimulates the act of defecating.
That's a strange.
Yeah, that's a strange hint. I didn't even know that was the hint.
And drop it. Is it pop?
Yes, pop, lock, and drop it.
Drop it.
Yeah, pop, lock, and drop it. It was back in the day.
Oh my God, she's doing good. Normally people struggle really bad with this game. So all right, so here's.
Told you I can talk. I know words. I know words, no numbers.
And here's your last one right here. So what do you think that says right there?
Baby Mona. Do I get hints?
Yes. One of the hint is apparent.
Baby Boda. Oh, Baby Boda? No. Baby.
Not baby.
It's mother, but more hip.
I don't speak all the kids lingo. I told you I'm almost 40. I don't know this shit no more. LMFAO. That's about it. Yeah.
You want us to tell you what it is?
Yes, I give in. Pass.
Baby's mama. So
Baby mama. Oh, okay.
Baby mama.
And what you
Baby mama drama.
What you did, which helped you greatly with the game, is you actually did it the way it's supposed to be done. You sounded it out,
as if you were drunk.
as if you. And that's the thing I tell people all the time: sound it out. And then we'll get guests, and they'll just sit there in silence, and it's just kind of like, well, when you say it, you'll kind of hear it roll off your tongue of what it is, like So it'll help.
Ray, damn it!
Yeah, and then they'll just sit there, and it's funny because the video version, like you see them just sitting there, like, but the audio version, it's just dead, like just silence. Just
well, you've got a toy on here. I know how to play. Okay, Toy. My last name's Toy. I know how to play.
You ever played Cards Against Humanity?
Yes.
Okay.
I have an updated version. I think it's like right here on the table.
Everyone has.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
It's
I
not insanity.
Yeah, I have a couple of versions put together. Now we do it differently on the show, though. A little bit more of a fun version. So what we do is we read off the black card, and then we give you an option between 1 to 5. And you're gonna randomly pick a number which will randomly answer that card.
All right, I'm down.
From that, if you don't like that answer, you get another rebuttal. So you can get a second option, which will be the permanent option. So the first one is having the worst day ever. #blank. So now 1 through 5, how do you feel lucky? What number is a lucky number to you? Do you think that can answer that card?
4.
4. All right. So having the worst day ever. #death. So,
all right.
Yeah. So are you
having a pretty bad day?
I think that was my Facebook post one time.
It's just a bad day. It's your last day.
Yeah. So are you cool with that, or do you want to do a rebuttal and choose a different card?
I want to choose a different card just because I want to hear these. They're fun.
Okay. All right. So 4 is out. So what number do you want now?
Let's do 2.
2. All right. So having the worst day ever. #letting this loser eat me out.
There you go. See, it's even better.
That is better.
And then some of the other options were the express written consent of the National Basketball Association, a sticky free-hole full of pancake sauce, and then poorly timed Holocaust jokes. So those all would have been solid hashtags. Now we're going to do another one. So Matt, you want to read off the black card this time?
Yeah, give me 1 second to get it all straight. Okay, so black card is, what's the new fad diet? 1 through 5.
Yep, 1 through 5. 1? Okay.
It's alcoholism.
So
all right.
So the new fad diet is alcoholism. Would you like to pick a different card?
Yeah. Even though it's a happy hour show, yes, just because again, these are great.
All right, what number do you want?
5.
5. Okay.
This is pretty terrible, but what's the new fad diet? Altar boys.
That is better though. That is a good answer.
Some of the other options were just sandwich, not sandwiches, but just sandwich. Turning poor people against each other so they don't pay attention to economic equality, and being fat and stupid.
Oh, so all the other ones were there. We're there already as America. We're there.
We're over there.
Yeah.
We're over there, baby.
#death. Okay.
Yes. #death. Like that one just sums it up. It's like it's almost like the kind of thing, and I get this often. Like you just kind of wake up and you're just kind of like,
yeah.
Because you wake up and you're like, I still have bills. Like, why is this? Like,
no, I know you get that anxiety and you just want to pull the covers over your head.
Yeah.
And then I realized, wait, I stopped drinking as much as I used to. So I remember what I did last night.
Well, it's the kind of thing that I didn't know how to use a plastic bag. I needed to use the instructions. #death. Like I must now kill myself.
Do this too when you say it, like Jimmy Fallon. #death.
Yeah. I don't have quite enough to fill up my gas tank because of how expensive gas is. That our buddy sent us an image right before we went live. He's going to a Korn concert and he just put $100 in his tank.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
just like, oh,
Yeah, I
like,
think it
literally,
cost him like
yeah.
almost $70.
Like
just for his tank.
I watched that. I saw that photo and I wanted to kill myself because of how
Like-
much money he put into his gas tank. Like,
Yeah. Well, get ready with this war with the Ukraine and Russia. It's not going down anytime soon.
yeah, and you know what? We said this before. My wife herself, she's Ukrainian and Jew on her dad's side, so she loves Zelensky. I don't know if you guys have seen any of them, but there's all these videos going around of everybody thirsting over Zelensky. Like it shows him with his shirt off getting a needle or whatever.
He's good looking. Yeah.
And it's funny because I mean, really, that's like the kind of leader that anybody would want, because everybody knows it doesn't matter who our president is, whether it be Trump, Biden, whoever. As soon as something like that happens here, they're running their asses into a bunker. Zelensky was like, "No, bitch, not today."
Yep.
Yeah, and they are fucking with them, like mentally. They are mentally just fucking with them nonstop. The lady with the sunflower seeds, like that's just like, yeah, that's a.
I know, it's nuts. I just hope that they don't go and bomb. There's like another nuclear power plant by Chernobyl that they're looking at bombing, and it's like
fire. It's on fire.
It's all like the bad like riots and stuff that we had. It's like, when Atlanta is posting "Don't burn down your own house," on like I feel like that's the same thing, because it's like if you blow that up, like all of Russia is not going to be safe now because of the jet stream. And I mean, like it's just like why do you want to ruin your own shit?
Yes, it's like you don't shit where you lay. Like it doesn't make sense, guys.
Well,
I tried to tell people that there are like those riots and stuff like that. Like I get your calls, but like you're burning down your own shit, man.
You're about it the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because especially like Putin is the type of guy. I saw a video and someone was like, man, you would think that like someone like Putin, like his voice would like sound like Hulk Hogan or something like that, like very deep voice. But instead he sounds like a fucking Mike Tyson or something, like just very like yeah. And it's like, this is the guy that's like, coming to like fucking take our town. Like this dude, like, he sounds like a bitch.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want to start another war, so I guess.
Yeah. War, you say?
Politics, man, get out of it. Let's talk about something else. We're on here to have fun, right?
And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to get into our segment called Burn Photo. So what we do is we show photos of ourselves that we feel should be burned, and we all just make fun of those photos. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and start that, and I will start with my photo as always. Let me go ahead and get that ready. And Matt, you always kind of get like a little sneak peek because it's right here on the screen. So this one right here is mine. So there's that one. And this is another one of those ones that my wife always, like, she's forever. She used to always, she doesn't do Snapchat anymore, but she would like get on Snapchat and do random filters and then make me pose for the photos, because that's her right there. And like she
didn't tell you she was doing that.
No. So she's just, and of course you see like my hamburger meat, like I'm not wearing a shirt, like I'm sitting on the couch wearing a, and I feel like that this is like when you wake up and everything around you is just going to shit and you feel like you need to make a change in your life. And it's just like, well, honey,
there it is.
Yeah, here it is. This is me now.
Yeah. See,
I love it.
My girl takes pictures of me. I'm like, nope. I get all like Queen of England. No pictures. No pictures.
No pictures.
She starts like laughing when she's like, well, I'm like, I know what you're up to.
Yeah. I know what you're, and that's the thing. Like, dude, your wife, she's like the worst with trying to get stuff or whatever. And this one, like, I found one of you. Of course, Mike provided a lot of photos the other day. Yes, the burn photo.
See, like I told you, I don't really make bad photos.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I don't keep bad photos. Okay, I'm not saying I'm not trying to be conceited. I don't take bad photos of myself, dude. Like, why would I do that?
Like, yeah.
For moments like this.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I really wish that I still had access to my MySpace. And I mean, that's like, dude,
we
like,
call them finger guns.
Yeah. Pow. Like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, hey baby, what's up? Like, you want to come home with me tonight?
Yeah, I was definitely
nice DVD selection you got there.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at that. Look, the DVD selection and then the jerk off. Like, this is all the porn, and this is
I was gonna say,
those are
that ass blasters too. Ah,
And you can see all the stuff that you use to abuse yourself. Like right before the battery goes in your penis.
This just goes
like,
to show you how
stuff
old this photo is. So you got fucking DVDs in the background.
Well, at least it's not like,
Love it.
you know, VHS or 8-track or something like that. So
yeah,
that's
you're
a
really
reference.
showing your age, man.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Jeez.
And
DVDs.
and what's funny is I wish I still had access like to my MySpace, because my MySpace had so many gems on there. I remember there was a photo that I would die to use on this, and it was actually Ocean City, Maryland. We talked a little bit about that, you know, on the pre-show. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, watch the pre-show if you're listening at home. But no, like we went on a trip, and my buddy, we were all sharing a room, and we were all drunk, and my buddy's using the bathroom. And then like everything that I ate and everything that I drank just all hit me at one time. Like my stomach's like turning like 100,000 miles an hour. So he's sitting in the bathroom. I literally police officer kicked the door open. Like the door just flies open. He just looks up at me like that. I'm like, get off the toilet now. And he's like, but I can't. Like I'm mid shit. Like I can't get off of the. I'm like, get off of. And he's like, I'm like, scoot over. He's like, what do you mean scoot over? I'm like, scoot over. I need the shit now. And he's like, this isn't gonna happen this way. And I'm like. So I look over, and the first thing I see is a little tiny square blue trash can. And I was like, move your legs. So I sit down next to him and I shit in this little tiny blue trash can.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. And my buddy busts in and takes a picture of us, and it's him sitting on the toilet, naked, shitting, and me with my pants down, shitting in this trash can. And you just see both of us just looking up like this is our lives right now. And the funniest part, the best part is that like I did it, and then we didn't know what to do with the shit. Like it's in the trash can, and like nobody wanted to handle the shit. So it's like, well, what do we do with this? And the initial thought was to go down the hall to our friend's room and put the trash can of shit in their room and turn the heat all the way up, so that could just.
Oh my god.
And they
You're
were just
a good friend.
just pass out as soon as they walk in, but we couldn't get into their room. So it ended up with me just taking it out back and just throwing the shit can into the fucking dumpster. But yeah, we had plans for that.
Yeah. So earlier we were talking about the guy that would shove a battery up his pee hole. I'm pretty much convinced that one of your friends would do that because of that story that you just revealed.
Yeah, pretty much.
The same said friend that I kicked the door. And mind you, me and him were roommates for the longest time. One of my high school friends. And there was a time we were out and we were drinking. And at the time we were out, we went to a club down here called Orpheus. Did you ever go to Orpheus?
I never went to Orpheus.
Oh my god, dude, it was the weirdest club I ever been in. People were wearing gas masks and shit, like crazy, like just insanity. Everybody was like all fucked up on ecstasy and shit.
Where's that at?
I'm like, what the? It's closed now, but I was like, what?
No,
the fuck?
What was it on? Like,
It was down like, fuck, where was it? It was down near Fleet Street somewhere.
I might have been there.
Yeah, down near
I
where
feel like
Fletcher's
I might
was.
have been there.
But it was insanity. So my friend, his girlfriend at the time, she later became his wife. I mean, they're divorced now, but she later became his wife. At one point, she looked at him and she took like a test. You know how you go to bars and you get like the little test tube shooters?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she went into the bathroom and she peed in it. And we arranged us like we were fucking with him. We're like, we're gonna fuck with him and tell him pretty much, hey, you know, and we never thought, you know, anything was gonna come of it. So she came out and she handed him the test tube. And she's like, if you love me, you'll drink this. And he's holding it in his hand. Like he feels the heat from the pee in his hand. And he's sitting there looking at it. He's like, what? She's like, yeah, if you love me, you'll drink that. And I'm just sitting there, like, kind of like with a beer in front of my face, like trying to keep my composure because I'm like, you know, because we're fucking with him. And then the next thing I know, I look over and I just see him go, oh, and I'm like, oh. And she's just kind of like, she was like, what the and like he actually did it. And we were like, and when he was done, we're like, dude, you know, we're just fucking with you. Like you didn't have to do that. And like, yeah.
He was probably like, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to the bar with you.
I know, Jesus Christ.
Well, that was a long time ago.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing that like a lot of our crew, like, you know, you sit there and you watch movies like The Hangover and all that, and you sit there and you think, you're like, there's people that are actually out there that are like that. Like, and I mean, you've done a lot of cool stuff. Like, has there ever been anything like super crazy on Fan Room Live that like happened, like either on the show or backstage or anything like that? Like any like fun stories that you don't need to name names or anything like that. Like anything that just completely went absolutely upside down, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Oh, well, man, I mean, like before I did all this, I was the live news director for America's highest rated local newscasts in the country, and did like the Olympics and all that kind of shit. So like high pressure stuff and like bad stuff happening, I love it. But the craziest thing that I've ever experienced when I was in college, I was friends with the Jackass guys. So I've gotten rolled off of a roof in a garbage can once, didn't make it on any episodes, but here we are. That was back when I did a lot more drugs, but no, I mean, on Fan Room, the only thing that's like been really crazy, I know like Paul White, who is like in charge. He was the Big Show in WWE, but now he's like in charge of the ECW or the AEW now. He took his shirt off because he was donating it to a kid to raffle off for a charity in England. But like I'm on there going, take it off, like I mean, where else am I gonna tell the Big Show, like, yeah, take it off, but I mean, it's not crazy. We try to, keep it like kind of kid friendly as much as we can. I mean, people are going to curse obviously, but I mean, that show, it's, not as crazy.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've literally it's been the kind of thing that with this show, sometimes we have said some of the most vulgar, like demeaning things. I'm just kind of like,
that's why I'm here. Cause apparently we're like kin.
Like I'm like, I don't know how to fight, but I mean, that's the thing also is like, you look at it like, every so often you just kind of push the envelope. Like, people have gotten so soft that it's like, like our comedian friends, I feel so sorry for them because it's like, you need to tread lightly, with the stuff that you say. And it's just kind of like, you know what, we're out here to have fun. Like, I'm not saying stuff that I really mean. I'm saying stuff to be funny. I'm saying stuff because this is stuff that me and him have sat there for hours drunk laughing about. Like, and I mean, it's just, it's got to
I hate being so PC because it's like, take a joke. Okay. Like it was funny. I was being interviewed and I said something along the lines of, because like having Death Row as clients of mine, I'm like, I grew up with Tupac and Dr. Dre and all this stuff. And these people are the producers from like Ice-T and all these original guys from 1983 on. And I'm like, I grew up with Death Row and like, I'm not a gangster and whatever. And I'm like, I'm just a, country white girl. And it's like, are people going to get offended by that? I'm like, why? Like, I'm saying I'm working for them now. Okay. Like I'm excited, but I was like, I grew up in the rural in the country. Like my town just made it on the map like 6 years ago. we just paved the road. But like, I love where I am here because my family came here like 200 years ago and this is the original land. So we still have like 60 acres and, it's nice. Everybody went during COVID was coming to stay visit me. So we have the big pond and all. So social distancing wasn't an issue. So all my friends like, Dee Snyder's son, Jesse Snyder, he's a very good friend of mine. He would come and stay at the house and be doing like, his qigong and all this other stuff down by the pond. And, my dad's like an old farmer and he's like looking down going, these Hollywood people, and I just like laughing. They got their feet in the air down by the pond and they're like, home. And I'm like, hey man, welcome to COVID. I mean, what do you want?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, like when you have that many acres of land, that's like totally like getting some fucking shit. Like type land, like you're never bored because there's so much land to cover. You can go out there, set off fireworks, nobody's fucking with you. Like, I told my wife, like we live in a townhouse. I told her, I was like, the next house that we have, I want to be out in the middle of nowhere. Then that way, if we get drunk and walk outside with no pants on and want to shoot off fireworks, we can do that. Like I don't care. I don't need my neighbor going, that motherfucker over there. This is the 15th time I've seen him shooting fireworks off with that battery in his bait ass.
I'd be like, wow, you can see that far?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny. Of course, same friend. There was a time we were driving down the road, and it was around the 4th of July, and we had Roman candles. And he had a car with a sunroof on it. And we're like, oh, yeah, let's fire the Roman candles out of the sunroof. This is gonna be great. So we sit there, of course, we're drunk. Not gonna explain why we were driving, but this was a long time ago. So, we're sitting there, we're driving, and so we're like, all right, let's do it. So we light the Roman candle, boom, lights up, Roman candle fires. We forgot to open the sunroof.
Oh,
so
shit.
Roman candle is going off and
Oh my gosh,
bouncing all over the car. He got hit in the shoulder with one, and it was kind of like Tommy Boy when they pulled over on the side of the road and got on there like bees, like we were like that. But you see like fucking like a couple Roman candle, yeah, like he didn't even put the car in like park, like it was still kind of drifting, like when we like kind of got it. Yeah, so yeah, that make sure when you use fireworks, especially when you are intoxicated, you're very, very smart with using them. And it was almost like there was a night here, we had a fire going, and I was burning my wife had like this old, like one of those like buildable display shelves from like IKEA, and it was one of the shelves, and it was long. And we're avid beer pong players, so we like to play beer pong. So what we did is we stuck it on the fire pit, and we had cups on each side. So we had to play beer pong as quick as we could and try to win beer pong before this shelf burned and just fell apart and all the beer would fall. So we were literally playing fire pong as that was happening. Yeah. So
wow, man, you got an exciting life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to look at it.
Interviewing you.
Yeah.
Got to reinvent yourself.
Jesus, like trust me and my friends have so many goddamn stories, because I have my friends that I went to high school with, which we fortunately and a lot of it started because we had that one friend who had the party house. Mm-hmm. And he always had the parties when we were 20, 21, 22, 23. He was the type of guy who would start drinking on Thursday. We'd wake up Friday morning, he'd kick us, "You ready to drink?" And if we say no, he would make you leave. So, Thursday would turn into Friday, Friday would turn into Saturday, Saturday would turn into Sunday. And we would always get into so much shit. And then also you throw in me doing pro wrestling for 20 years. So, we were traveling around, going to all these strip clubs. We're wrestling shows just to go to the strip club in that town. And, just all the shit that we got into with that. Like, of course, we've had episodes, previous episodes where our friend Socrates, one of my fellow pro wrestlers, he said how Kevin Nash stole his girl, like stole his stripper, at the strip club, and just he had heat with Al Snow for no reason at all, accusing Al Snow from stealing his finish. And it's just it's so crazy how.
Have you seen my horror film? It stars WWE superstar Gene Snitsky, and it has Afa Inawahi Jr., really? Samu Inawahi. Yes, it's on Amazon, and like it's on like 37 platforms, not Netflix, but all the other ones. I know Amazon is definitely on, but it's called 100 Acres of Hell. You'll really like it. And Ernie O'Donnell's in it too, who's my other business partner. Ernie O'Donnell's Kevin Smith's best friend and has been in every movie since Clerks of his. He's my business partner, but he also co-stars in that as well. So yeah, 100 Acres of Hell. It's actually pretty good. And then Afa Inawahi actually trains Afa Senior and Junior. Both train my son in wrestling. He goes on Tuesday.
That's right. I knew there was something I meant to ask you, because I was looking through your photos and I saw that, and I meant to ask if your son was training to be a pro wrestler, because I've traveled around with Samu. We actually witnessed Samu shave one of the wrestlers' eyebrows off.
I believe it.
In Pittsburgh. And then like we're sitting there, and he woke up the next day, and my tag partner was like, "Well, you look stupid. Like you need to shave the other one." So he went out for his match with no eyebrows, and he was wrestling Al Snow. So he went out, for his match with no eyebrows. But no, Samu's a great guy. So how is it with your son with his training? Like how far along is he? Because I mean, that was one of the things later in my career that I actually enjoyed doing. I loved working with the younger guys and teaching them the basics. I was big on basics. Like don't do all this bullshit out there in the ring, get the people engaged. Less is more. The more, the less you do, the more they're going to want to see, later on down the line.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's loving it. He's been training with Gene Snitsky too. He's Gene, Samu, and Afa. I mean, it was great because we were all filming together when we did 100 Acres of Hell. I guess we were filming about 6 years ago, 6 years ago now. But my son was little. I guess he was 10 at the time, but he was following along because he was such a huge wrestling fan, as was I growing up. And my husband was his father. He passed away like 10 years ago. So I'm the mom and the dad. So it's like when I got to bring him and he got to be on set. And then we ended up filming about a third of 100 Acres of Hell actually on my family's property here in Northeast Pennsylvania. But Gene was there, and Afa and Samu play the bad guy in it. But they were wonderful, and like they've been off and on training him for a few years now. But it's like he's not into where he's going into shows or anything just yet. But he's training and working up to it. So I think probably within the next, maybe 2 to 3 months, he might do a show for the first time.
Nice.
So it'll be exciting. But yeah, I mean, they're so wonderful because Samu has, his training facility in Allentown. Afa Jr. just opened up a new place in like the East Stroudsburg area up here. So that's where I've been taking my son, on every Tuesday. I take him up to Afa's. I know Tuesdays and Fridays, he's got all of his things.
Yeah.
And they have a great, group of people that they train in there. But they've done some private, training and stuff and Lance Anawahi. He was also in my movie 100 Acres of Hell, which is
Lance. I've been on shows with Lance. I've never worked him personally, but I have been on a lot of shows with him in West Virginia, PA.
They're all super like nice and like, very personable, but we've all been in fact, I was just texting with Afa, just 2 hours ago. But we all check in with each other and we all like, do events and stuff still together for 100 Acres of Hell, usually around Halloween time because it's a Halloween-esque movie. Nice. But they're wonderful. And yeah, I love that. I love the whole wrestling aspect. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, when what's his name? I can't think off the top of my head, but he came back. He's got all the lightning, the Undertaker. When he like came back in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and I was at the show and I was in the general manager's box and like I was just not paying attention. Then all of a sudden, like everything, went down, and then his like music with the, the thunder and lightning. And I had tears in my eyes. I had goosebumps. I was just like, oh my God, like everybody just was quiet. And it was just like, you just watched him slowly walk. And it was just like, oh my God, this is the moment. This is exactly, this is what I love.
What's funny is he was my biggest idol on why I got into the wrestling business, so the Undertaker, I it's going to be emotional for me watching the Hall of Fame this year, because the Undertaker is the reason why I got into the industry. And I was able to go to WrestleMania, and it was the WrestleMania where he had the last successful streak win against CM Punk. And it was at MetLife Stadium. And like, it's one thing seeing Taker come out, but seeing him come out at Mania, especially knowing the fact that it was outside, it was kind of cold. And as soon as it got dark, like everything just like, lightning, there were shadows, there were all these arms and stuff reaching for him through the shadows and all that. And it was just insane. And, Afa and, all those guys, Samu, they have a great school, probably one of the best schools around, they work with a lot of guys. And, it's a unique business to be in. I loved it. Everything I have today is because of the wrestling business. Matt's my friend because of the wrestling business, because I met my wife through a fan who came and got me a job with him, and his mom worked with my wife. So that's how I met my wife.
That's crazy.
And, this podcast, when it exists, me being able to talk and, talk to people and all that, would not exist due to the fact of me becoming a pro wrestler. I really appreciate that. And of course, Stacey, I know we're getting a little short on time. We normally run about an hour. So here's what we're going to do. If you just want to tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find Fan Room Live, if they want to reach out to you on social media, where can they find you?
Sure, absolutely. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, at Stacey Toy, STACEYTOY. Don't forget the E because it goes to another Stacey Toy and I won't see it. Yeah, for months. So I'm at all those. And yes, you can personally reach out to me. I will try. I always get back to everybody. It's sometimes when things get crazy though, I might read it, but I will get back to you. And then if you want to follow NFT Drop LLC on Instagram or on Facebook, that's our new company with our NFTs. You can follow all the cool stuff we're doing with the Death Row guys and everything else. And then at Fan Room Live or fanroomlive.com and keep an eye on those because we're going to be releasing some dates so people could buy tickets and be on the show.
Make sure you go check it out and support Stacey. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and end our audio version of the show and end our video version of the show. And of course, we'll be back here next week, right here on YouTube Live. And for everybody listening at home, we'll be back next week. Our featured guest is Joshua Lewis. He's an adult film star. So, he's our second male adult film star we've had. Normally it's female adult film star. So it'll definitely be interesting and fun talking about stuff from his point of view. And of course, we're sick, twisted fucks as it is. So, porn is a big element of this show. So make sure you come on, check that out. And make sure May 7th, check out May 7th, the HH Pod Rumble. My wrestling roots always, we're having 30 former guests back and it's going to be insanity. We're going to be playing our games and it's going to pretty much be incoherent and the eliminations are going to happen if you cannot answer incoherent. And I'm actually thinking about getting a belt that I can send out to whoever is the quote unquote winner of all of our 30 former guests, not all of them, but 30 of former, guests who have been on the show who, will come back for the 100th episode on May 7th, right here on, YouTube Live. So make sure you look out for that. Go over to www.thehhpod.com for more information on that. And we will go ahead and end our audio and video stream, and we will see you guys next week. All right, cool. Stacey, thank you. We appreciate it.